Is that Hogwarts? What's Hogwarts doing in Fantastic Beasts? What? You can't operate in Hogwarts.
I have some questions for you, Professor.
This is a surprise?
There's a rumor that Newt Scamander is headed to Paris.
This is so exciting.
I know he's working under your orders. What do you have to say for yourself, Dumbledore?
If you'd ever had the pleasure to teach him, you'd know Newt is not a great follower of orders.
So that's young Dumbledore then. What's Hogwarts doing with Fantastic Beasts? That's so awesome.
When you're going to have to pick a side. Are you going somewhere? No, we're going somewhere. Jeez.
Literally all of the places, like, I'm so excited. Thestrals as well. I love Thestrals, they're really cool.
I can't move against Grindelwald. It has to be you.
Okay, so he's working with Dumbledore a bit, maybe? Kind of like how Dumbledore sort of led Harry. Yes. My initial reaction is just, wow, and, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, basically. Like, wow. Like, I had no idea that they could possibly put the Wizarding World as we know it, like the English Wizarding World, like Hogwarts and everything, with Fantastic Beasts, with this whole American Reclusa, the Ministry. There was just so much in this trailer, and it's just going to take me so long to sort of really break it down. The first thing that I noticed was that they apparated into Hogwarts. Well, the first thing was Hogwarts, but that they apparated into Hogwarts. Now, this sort of shocked me because any big Potterhead should know that you can't apparate into Hogwarts grounds. There's a big barrier around the whole thing. The only way in is to walk through the gates or to flue powder into Dumbledore's office himself. Of course, this is back in time. This is before Hogwarts as we know it, so perhaps this barrier wasn't in place back then, or perhaps because they're on special business, they've got some sort of permission, they're able to do that. Perhaps the barrier was put into place because of a big war with Voldemort. I'm not sure. But they were actually apparating into Hogwarts, so I hope that that is explained as we go through the films to see exactly how that fits in. The next thing that we see is the Ministry are in the classroom with Dumbledore, and they're speaking to him about Newt. This was surprising. This was like, well, why is the English Ministry interested in Newt? And although we know that Dumbledore didn't want Newt to get kicked out, so there's probably some sort of loyalty between Newt and Dumbledore. What is the Ministry interested in here? Why are they sort of questioning him? And the only possible answer is that they suspect Dumbledore of sending Newt to America to do with Grindelwald, that there's some sort of thing going on there, that there's some sort of plan in place. This is backed up by the end of the trailer when Dumbledore and Newt are talking on the roof, and Dumbledore says to Newt about how it has to be him who goes after Grindelwald because Dumbledore himself can't do it. Well, one, this confirms what we saw earlier in the trailer.
I know he's working under your orders. What do you have to say for yourself, Dumbledore?
It has to be you.
What this also tells us is we can think about why Dumbledore wasn't doing it himself. So we know that Dumbledore is a very, very big figure in the present time now. He would have still been a very big figure back then he was pretty influential, and although this is a little bit before he really got famous, because I believe that we discover towards the end of Harry Potter series that actually Dumbledore became particularly famous because of being able to take down Grindelwald. So I guess this sort of leads on to more questions about the life of Dumbledore and what stage he's at here and why he's not chasing it down himself. So we see a lot of Ministry members in that classroom when they go and see Dumbledore. And it's highly likely that one of the main guys there is young Fudge. And that would further the idea that there was always this sort of rivalry between Fudge and Dumbledore, and him always worrying that Dumbledore was trying to take his position. Because there's clearly a lot of suspicion from the Ministry, and we know that Fudge has always been involved in it for a very long time, and has always been pretty suspicious of Dumbledore and the various missions that he's either gone on himself or sent others on. I think that this is a fantastic opportunity to then start bringing the whole world of wizarding all together in one. And I think one way to sort of do that, especially since now we've got the character of Dumbledore, which is crossing over from both, is that we could actually, J.K. Rowling could take this as an opportunity to publish the book of the biography of Dumbledore. This would be really great. I think that it'd be fantastic as a fan of Harry Potter and the wizarding world as a whole to actually read about the order of everything that Dumbledore did, what he went through, all of his experiences, and be able to read that alongside watching the Fantastic Beasts and see it all playing out. I don't think that that's in the woodwork at all. I just think that that'd be really exciting, that if something like that happened, it would be the perfect opportunity. So it was pretty surprising seeing Credence in there. I thought that he would probably just sort of run away and disappear with his Obscurus, but we actually see him at one point holding a wand, which means that he is learning magic, which means he is going to be able to control it. And I wonder what will happen to the state of his Obscurus for that, because I'm very interested in the facts of Harry Potter and in the way that things work. And so that gives us an opportunity to learn more about the Obscurus and how that works, how it's a separate creature but is actually a creation of his suppressed magic and what that means. And it'll be interesting to see whether he continues to be out of control and a loose cannon maybe being bad, or whether he'll sort of figure out what's going on in the grand scheme and manage to turn his life around and be a really good character. I know that he's definitely not a character that we've heard of before the Fantastic Beasts series, so it'll be interesting to see what becomes of him, because he might end up being a big character which we just happen to never hear about in the Harry Potter series, or he might not, but it'll be interesting to see what happens all the same. We see Credence when he's sat on the roof, and he's there with this witch, and she's not someone that I've seen before. I've got no idea at all who she could be. She obviously, I assume, has some magical power because of where they were and what he was doing, because he was sort of with his Obscurus, so... But I thought his Obscurus usually comes out when he feels upset or threatened, but he seemed okay, so maybe this hints that he's starting to control it a bit in some way, that he's actually able to channel the Obscurus, but I have no idea what this woman is or anything like that. Maybe she's like his personal tutor with it or something. Halfway through the trailer we see Grindelwald in the carriage, and his hair has grown, he looks really overgrown. We also see a carriage, a similar looking design but from the outside, being dragged along by Thestrals. It might be a bit of a trick that they're doing there, or it could be genuine. As for him being all overgrown and everything, the question with that is he overgrown because he's on the run? Or we did see in the end of Fantastic Beasts that he was able to change his appearance significantly. So perhaps he has changed his appearance in order to sort of be a bit more camouflaged, or perhaps it's just because he's been on the run and he's quite dishevelled. I'm not sure exactly how much time has gone between the two movies, because Newt Scamander himself, he doesn't seem to have aged very much, and there's not, in fact, all of the characters that we saw from the first movie, none of them seem to have changed in appearance except for Grindelwald. Nevertheless, a little bit of time could have gone by, because it doesn't really take long for Grindelwald to grow his beard and everything. It could be natural, it could just be him being on the run, not keeping himself looking tidy, or figuring that he might as well not bother making himself look tidy. We also saw that Newt was going on his way to Paris, or at the least it seemed like he was on his way to Paris. So again, this is very, very exciting, because this opens up this whole new possibility that in the Wizarding world we're not just going to be looking at the American Ministry, the MACUSA, the USA, and obviously the UK where we've seen Hogwarts and everything, but we're actually going to be expanding it significantly to perhaps even seeing parts of the Wizarding community in France. We could learn more about this French school that they have, which is run by Madame Maxime, and yeah, that could be really, really exciting to see their school, to see the way that their community runs, the way that their ministry runs. Just, it really brings together this idea that it's a wizarding world, like, that it's not just like a few little bits, but that there's wizards worldwide. So that's a really, really exciting prospect. For me, this trailer, it just opens up so many possibilities. I'm absolutely full of questions, but most of all, I'm hoping that it expands the world, expands the characters, and expands my knowledge of the different kind of magics which are about. Those are the things which I really want to learn, and I'm really thinking that I might start to. So this is so exciting. This is a big step for the Wizarding world, I feel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and also thank you to all of my current subscribers and all those who have subscribed recently. I'm planning to do some more reaction trailers, hopefully, in the future. This was my first reaction trailer, so I'm not sure how well it went, but I hope that you liked it. So if you did, please hit the like button, please comment, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And as always, keep watching and keep collecting.